Yeshua Yaakov Ben Abraham. I'm a didactic scientist. I live in Jerusalem. I'm an American citizen. And this is a comment on the 9/11 video. The most important central issue of the video of 9/11 is its meta-narrative. It signals the collapse of the local reality, and in specific terms, it means the end of man and mankind's exile. The Twin Towers, the meta-narrative, or the grammatic meaning, is the duality of man in exile, his artificial duality that blinded him to his authentic self, that is collapsed. That's the psycholinguistic level. There's a cognitive, there's a behavioral, and a psychosocial level. The most important thing, it ends man and mankind's exile, and for the secular, it is the end of the pre-modern, modern era, and the ascent to the era of post-modernity. So this is perhaps the most important thing that we have to, all of us, take as the lesson from 9/11. And I'm going to be even more specific. Not only has the local reality collapsed, but we have a further problem, and that is in physics, when the local reality collapses, you're in the quantum reality. But man's denial has us in the middle. We're blocked from ascending because of the denial of man and mankind. Okay, when we end the denial, we can ascend and inhabit the quantum reality, which in religious terms is the meaning of Geula and redemption. And for the secular, it is to inhabit the postmodern quantum era. And I'm getting a lot of noise here. Hold on, I'm going to go right away and I'm going to close this door because there's a lot of noise. Not a coincidence. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry for the interruption. The most important part of the meta-narrative is the Twin Towers represents 4 levels. There are two entities on 4 levels. Okay, let me say what they are. On the psychosocial level, the 2 entities are the East-West systems. Communism collapsed in former Soviet Union, December 25th, 1991 and 1992 in Yugoslavia, and it's been moving around the world since. And with 9/11, the meta-narrative of the collapse of the Twin Towers is capitalism and democracy is imploding, and it's on its way to ground zero. On the behavioral level, this relates to the 2 largest monotheistic religions, namely Islam and Christianity. They're imploding. On the cognitive level, this relates to the economy, to the world economy, and the 2 largest economies in the world are America and Japan. They are no longer viable, competitively speaking, with oil at $150 a barrel and going north. And lastly, there is the collapse of the duality of man, and that is the evil inclination and the good inclination that blinded him in exile. That's really an imitation of what is the real man. That is collapsed as well. So that's the psycholinguistic. Then there's the cognitive again, the economies, and the behavioral again, which is the religions, and the psychosocial, which is the East-West system. So the question is, what comes after it? And the answer is Humanomics in general. The East-West convergence model for the post-collapse of the local reality is Humanomics. So the question is, on all these 4 levels, what collapsed? And the answer is, in exile, the model was of man and mankind was giving to receive. I give, I get. And it operated on the individual, the family, the community, and the national levels, or, as I said earlier, psycholinguistic, cognitive, behavioral, and psychosocial levels. Okay, let's keep it to the individual, family, community, and national levels. Okay, so that collapse. The question is, what replaces it? Well, as I said, Humanomics is the new East-West convergence model in the post-collapse of the local reality. Its central organizing principle is receiving to give. And receiving what? Receiving the authentic you. To give the authentic you to who? To the authentic you. To your children, to your family, your community, and your nation. And so that is where we are, and that is the meta-narrative of 9/11. So out of this tremendous, very sad, tragic event comes what is certain to be the greatest blessing on mankind in modernity. Having said that, I would only say that the most significant further comment that might be helpful is that what do we do, okay, when we understand the collapse of the local reality applies on the individual, the family, the community, the national level? What do we do? Well, we end the denial, and to inhabit the quantum reality, we have to deconstruct ground zero, the particular form of ground zero. That means as it applies to each one of us individually, to our families, to our community, our nation. So there's deconstruction. Then we have to deprogram the mind of exile. Then we have to restore our authentic self, and we have to heal from the ravages of exile. That's the process. And the way in which we inhabit our authentic self is through identity resolution. Receiving to give central technology is identity resolution, which is the paradox to delimita dichotomy axis, where we work through and resolve and understand the events that end man and mankind's exile throws us into chaos. And out of that chaos comes complexity, and from that complexity comes convergence. And from the convergence comes comprehension. And that's the process that we're all of us faced with right now and that we're undergoing. We have no choice. It's imposed. And we wish you kabel b'shvilatet. That's in Hebrew. That's the blessing of receiving to give, receiving the authentic you, to give the authentic you to who? To the authentic you. To yourself, to your children, to your family, to your community, and to your nation. I'm Yoshua Yaakov Ben Avraham, formerly Michael O'Donnell, an American citizen. I live in Jerusalem for 22 years, and we wish you blessings from Jerusalem. Thank you for listening.